Welcome back to the program. Well, 75 Nigerian migrants have been deported by Libyan authorities in coordination with the United Nations Refugee Agency. In the past months, Tripoli Detention Center had been their home after the Coast Guard intercepted their boats at sea. Some of the migrants whose travel documents were yet to be processed were seen crying outside the detention center where they were being held. According to the agency's chief on mission for Libya, the International Organization for Migration scheme is meant to offer a way out to those stuck in Libya without money, work, or a means to move on. Early yesterday, Libya's Coast Guard and naval forces rescued nearly 500 migrants from sea after 3 separate rescue operations. Thousands of migrants from Africa and the Middle East have crossed the Libyan desert, taking flimsy boats on the Mediterranean in the hope of reaching Europe in recent years. A coalition of opposition parties in Zimbabwe are expected to hold a protest today outside the South African embassy in the capital, Harare. Well, this is over South Africa's handling of the First Lady Grace Mugabe's alleged assault of a woman in an upmarket hotel in Johannesburg 2 weeks ago. Davis Jr. Mukwashwa, the spokesman for the coalition, said they will push on with their peaceful protest against granting immunity to Ms. Mugabe, warning that the police don't have any rights under Zimbabwe's constitution to deny or clear their protests. Meanwhile, supporters of Zimbabwe's President Robert Mugabe and his wife Grace Mugabe have held a solidarity march in the capital, Harare. They carried placards praising the two. And South African Daily Maverick Amabungani, in line with other online news sites in June, released leaked emails and documents that showed allegedly improper dealings in government contracts and influence peddling by the Guptas, a family with close ties to South Africa's President Jacob Zuma. Well, this group of investigative journalists say South African President must be held accountable over his widely criticized links to a family of wealthy businessmen.
A group of investigative journalists whose slogan is "Digging Dung, Fertilizing Democracy" is holding South African President Jacob Zuma to account over his widely criticized links to a family of wealthy businessmen. Amabungani, which means dung beetles in Zulu language, was founded by 3 veteran reporters to expose wrongdoing in South Africa. Together with online news site The Daily Maverick, Amabungani in June released leaked emails and documents that they say showed allegedly improper dealings in government contracts and influence peddling by the Guptas, a family with close ties to Zuma. Co-founder Stefan Brummer said Amabungani, which was founded in 2010, had spent several years probing Zuma's family business dealings and had verified the authenticity of the leaked documents.
Our very first story as Amabungane was a series called Zuma Inc. And we looked at the Zuma family and how its business fortunes had grown since Zuma took the office of president. And in that first story already there was, you know, one of the names that came up was the Guptas. And, you know, so over time there are obviously lots and lots of stories looking at what now would be called state capture, not necessarily by the Guptas, but tender rigging and all this kind of stuff. But a constant theme, interestingly, was the Guptas throughout. So we kind of became the experts in what this family was doing.
Bruma says the Gupta name popped up in several of Amabungani's inquiries into Zuma's family business links, and the organization was well placed to process the trove of information in more than 100,000 emails and documents. Bruma added that Amabungani, which mostly uses external hard drives to store documents for safety reasons, had sent a copy of the leaked Gupta emails to the Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project, a global consortium of investigative journalism centers.
What Mabungani basically do is to focus on a very important brand of journalism where they spend time to connect the dots, to find, to dig deeper into a whole lot of issues around, especially state and state corruption.
The allegations, which came after an anti-corruption watchdog report into claims of influence peddling, opened Zuma up to renewed scrutiny and deepened divisions within the ruling African National Congress, ANC. Zuma survived an attempt in parliament to force him from office on August the 8th, but he was left politically wounded after some ANC members voted with the opposition. As a non-profit...
Well, let's take you to Libya, where Faraj Mohammed is one who is determined to keep Libya's dwindling saddlecraft alive right in the heart of the country's capital, Tripoli. The city is famous for the trade, with many craftsmen perfecting the art inherited from their ancestors.
Right in this tiny workshop on the outskirts of Tripoli, 62-year-old Faraj Mohammed is engaged in a livelihood he has practiced for years, handcrafting leather horse saddles. Mohammed is one of the few craftsmen helping to keep alive the art of handmade saddles imprinted with old Islamic art and Libyan tribal symbols. He started working with his uncle when he was 6 years old, and over time has passed the craft down to his son.
The reason why I learned the trade is because of my uncle. He had taught himself and was a natural. Most saddle makers are self-taught, and saddles generally are considered a homegrown craft. We consider their manufacture and usage while riding horses a very beautiful thing, and Libyan saddles are very special worldwide.
Mohammed's designs are a delight to his customers. He produces two main types of saddles, one fitted with gilded silver plates, which can sell for up to $11,000, and other less expensive models, usually laced with silver, gold or copper, threading, and could cost about $3,703. For Mohammed, the production process takes up to 3 months to delicately create intricate designs. Libyans enjoy showing off their saddles during celebrations such as marriage ceremonies and the traditional horse racing competitions which take place around the country.
We're preparing for our traditional horse racing competition. We practice once a week every Saturday. With a wide audience, it's very popular, and it's mostly practiced in celebrations and weddings, as well as during official ceremonies. Riders are judged on their techniques, as well as the overall quality and appearance of their saddles.
It takes a while to get a hang of the craft. Mohammed hopes he continues to be patronized so that this aspect of Libya's history would one day take center stage as a flourishing trade in Tripoli.
Beautiful saddles. Well, that's Network Africa at this time. Many thanks for watching. I'm Millicent Walker.